Hello, folks. This is Joe from MIGeekScene. I'm here at the Grand Rapids Comic Con here with voice actress Tara Sands.
Voice actress? That's how I am. Voice actress.
Singer from back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh.
Hostess.
Okay, I have to...
Interviewer.
Joe did a lot of research, and I'm slightly nervous to see what he dug up.
Oh. For those you don't know, when I mentioned voice actress, and I wasn't necessarily doing it in the role, the order of importance at all.
Okay.
But for the voice actress portion of this, because we are at a geek convention, she's done Bulbasaur from Pokemon, Biscuit Kreuger from Hunter.
Biscuit Kreuger. Biscuit Kreuger.
And Konbu Infinity from One Punch Man.
Konbu Infinity, yep. Mm-hmm.
So since I mentioned that you used to interview people.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to start with a random question for you. Because that's how you would lure them in, because you only had a few minutes. Mm-hmm. Favorite songs from the 80s?
Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, I loved the band Aha in the 80s. So Take On Me was a big, good 80s song. And I just heard someone posted on Facebook randomly him singing a slowed down version of it, like from a few years ago. And it was beautiful.
Nice.
Like, who thought? And I saw Aha in concert in the 80s. So I'm going to go with that. That was some good stuff.
I mean, one of my recent ones that I just started listening to again was 99 Luft Balloons by Nena.
So good. I think, well, I like classic rock, but 80s rock is a close second.
I mean, well, besides people who don't like to have fun, who doesn't like 80s music? I don't like fun. I like when people say, oh, they're so great, they like to laugh. And I thought, who doesn't like to laugh? All right. Well, speaking of music, since you were a theater kid, favorite musicals?
Into the Woods is definitely up there. Sweeney Todd. I have so many. It's a lot of Sondheim. I always say when people ask me if I'm into the stuff that's at the convention, I say my geeky nerdy side is all about musical theater. Mm-hmm. So I'm a Sondheim girl. Sunday in the Park with George. There's just company there. Yeah. And then, I can go back and love the older musicals as well, but to me, those are the best.
And you were a singer, so did you have any musical influences?
As a singer, again, musical theater. Like, if you asked me to sing a rock song, it would be embarrassing and I would be terrible.
What?
No, because I could sing musical theater, but it's a different way of singing for, pop music and rock music, and I couldn't do that. Although Debbie Gibson, I did love to sing some Debbie Gibson back in the day.
Oh, I see, from time to time, I get... Debbie Gibson and Tiffany confused. Which songs did Debbie Gibson do?
Tiffany was the redhead who sang at malls, and she would sing, I think we're alone now.
Okay,
I don't want to get you in trouble by singing anything, copyright-wise. I didn't sing that.
No, you did not.
I think we're alone now. If you do it that way, you didn't use any of the right notes.
And
Debbie Gibson was the blonde, who now is, I guess, Deborah Gibson, who sang, Lost in Your Eyes and Foolish Beat.
Okay.
I'll send you a mixtape.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
A cassette tape that you won't have anywhere to play it.
False.
Oh.
I'll find a way.
Okay.
All right, I have to do a fan question, so this goes out to Zach B. Thanks,
What's
Zach.
What's up, Zach B?
For Hunter x Hunter, how has the recording process been for the Greed Island arc?
So much fun. I've loved working on Hunter x Hunter. Biscuit she has a high pitched voice, and it's very easy for me to sustain that voice. It's not like Bulbasaur, which hurts my voice. So Biscuit is just up here, and I can do that all day long. And it's been really fun because I didn't know the show before I came in, and I think Erica and Christina and everyone does such a good job. So when I get to record after them, it's super fun because I get to hear what they did. Unfortunately, sometimes I record before them, so I'm not able to play off of anybody. But it's been such a fun show to do it. It kind of reminds me, I don't know why exactly, but it reminds me of the old days working on Slayers. I don't know if it's just the tone or the energy of it, but it's just like a great classic anime to me, it feels like. And Tony Oliver directs it, and he's awesome. And
Seems like a nice guy. I've met him once.
Amazing. And he will fill in all the, because I don't get to watch the full episodes or anything before we just jump in. And so he'll tell me what's going on in between the scenes, and he's a great director.
Okay. As I mentioned...
Great question, Zach B.
That goes out to you, Zach. Thank you so much.
I'd like to think that the B stands for Bulbasaur and that your last name is actually Zach. You're Zach Bulbasaur. What are the odds?
I don't know how to pronounce your last name. I think it's Bulbasaur.
Yeah.
All right, as I mentioned earlier, you've interviewed quite an impressive list of celebrities, including George Lucas, Brad Pitt, Tony Hawk, and Johnny Depp, who commented, "Blue toes, well done." Who were a pleasure to interview?
Well, all those people you named, Johnny Depp especially, because, he's so cute. And he did comment on my blue toenails. George Lucas was super fun because we got to do that at the Skywalker Ranch, which was amazing.
I'm envious.
Yeah, like I want to relive that. I feel like I sort of it was all such a daze because I was so excited. But he was funny because I was interviewing him for a kids show, so I was asking some wacky questions, and he's not known for being like wacky. So he took a lot of the questions pretty literally, and I asked him if Yoda was a mammal, and I don't think he cared for that question. So he kind of answered in a roundabout way, but I don't know if I ever really got an answer. But just sitting with him was really cool.
Nice. Why did you get nervous when you interviewed Richard Simmons?
I didn't interview him.
Oh.
Richard Simmons, who I'm a big fan of, and I'm sad that he's
I thought you interviewed him.
No, I have a story about him, though.
I was like,
no. You did your research. I wonder where I told that. So I don't usually get nervous around celebrities. Like, you said I interviewed, and I don't get nervous. Although I saw Jim Cummings out there, and I saw him today and last night, and I wanted to say hi, and I got nervous because I'm such a fan. So I do get starstruck. But Richard Simmons ran up to me at a mall, and I was so excited to see him that I froze and couldn't say anything back. And again, I don't usually get nervous, but for some reason, that little fairy, sprite, god, please delete that because I just sounded offensive probably.
No, but
he's like a sprite. He's like
if you would have left it just at fairy, I'm like, ooh,
no, but
then you threw in sprite and everything else.
Yeah, like he's just like a vision, and he had the short shorts, and he was just this happy little bubble. And he ran up to me and he told me I was pretty, and I which was so sweet. And I was having a terrible day. Something happened. I'd just been crying, and he ran up and said that to me. And what I said back was, "You are." And then I froze. And he was gone. So he made me nervous. Of all the people I met, Johnny Depp didn't make me nervous, but Richard Simmons.
Why is Howard Stern one of your favorite interviewers?
Well, first of all, let's also say Howard Stern's an incredible interviewer, but it's also because he gets a great amount of time with his guests. So if
I can only be so lucky, folks.
Right. I mean, he gets like an hour with them, so he has the time to really delve into things, and he listens to their answers and asks fantastic follow-up questions too. And he often asks the follow-up questions that if I was sitting there, I'd want to ask. So I feel like he really knows what his audience wants to hear. He interviews like his Lady Gaga interview. He's interviewed her a few times, where like he'll talk to her, ask her about songs, and then she'll be able to play something and show like how she came up with ideas. And he's a great interviewer. I know like he's crass and not everyone loves his style of things of talking and his show,
he gets real deal answers from people instead of
like
rehearsed stuff.
He makes people feel very comfortable, and because it's in a room where it's the radio, there aren't cameras everywhere intimidating them. You can hear how comfortable. It's almost as if you're eavesdropping on a dinner conversation. And to me, that's so fascinating.
Well, those are the interviews that I try to strive for when I do my extensive research. So, obviously I'm not hitting you up with everything.
No, this is great. This is like you did your research.
I've done plenty of research.
I'm a Howard Stern fan.
I mean, yes, it's unfortunate that I have a limited time. I mean, obviously you're a busy person, but I try. Not that
busy. I watch a lot of Netflix, so. Yeah.
Oh well, I was going to get into something Netflix-wise.
Oh, what was the Netflix question?
Disjointed, but we'll get to that a little bit later.
Okay.
I mentioned earlier that you are an actress as well. So whilst doing my research, I love whilst. Whilst doing my research, you were in a comedic short called Foreskin Intervention. How did you keep a straight face during that? Because that was absolutely hilarious.
You found that.
I tried finding Premarital 6, but I couldn't find that online. But I found Foreskin Intervention.
I can't believe you found that. That's so funny. That was not easy to keep a straight face during. And actually, the reason I did that, it was my friend directing it, and someone dropped out, and because I don't really pursue on-camera work anymore because I love doing voiceovers so much. I love doing voiceovers, and they honestly keep me busy, so I'm very lucky. But I got a call from my friend, and he said, I just lost an actress for my short called Foreskin Intervention. So I literally found out like the night before, and I was like, all right, I'm not doing anything tomorrow.
Because I think when they panned on you and like the dangly bits were hanging and like they showed you and it looked like you were having a hard time keeping a straight face, so they cut real quick.
Oh, I don't know. I don't even know if I ever watched it.
You never watched that?
I probably did a couple years ago.
I found that on Vimeo when I was doing research on you, and I was like...
Well, that was my friend David Brooks directed that. It was really super fun to work on, but again, I really had no idea what I was walking into.
It's a 5-minute short, folks. You can find it on Vimeo. Just type in Foreskin Intervention.
It's dirty, though, so no children.
Oh, absolutely no children.
But, watching that.
I would say it's well worth watching. And...
I can't.
Speaking of comedies, you were the voice of a certain plant in a new Netflix show called Disjointed. Let's talk about your time on the show.
I'm glad you brought up Disjointed. I love the show. It's on Netflix starring Kathy Bates, and just to be around her is kind of magical. I play the voice of some marijuana plants. It's
Sadie, or was that someone else you did?
Sadie.
The voice of Sadie?
I actually did a bunch of voices. So I was Sadie, and then just some random plants. I don't know actually what I watched it, but sometimes it's hard to tell because some of us sound alike. But like, there's some episodes where I just doubled and tripled the tracks, and I'm doing all of the voices. So it's just you doing the voice of plants. In some of them, and then a woman named April came in and did Coco for some episodes.
Okay. Because when I watched the first episode, I'll be the first to admit I was like, this is an okay show. But then as I was whilst I was doing research on you.
No, it takes some time to get into.
And when I watched the other episodes that you were featured in, I was like, wow, this show is actually getting progressively funnier and funnier. And like,
I'm glad you said that. Yeah.
I was like, wow. And it, like the randomness of it from time to time when, oh my God.
I mean, it's set in a marijuana dispensary. Oh, his music video?
Of White Girls and Weed. That caught me off guard because that just came out of nowhere.
Well, wait for season 2 because there are some pretty stellar musical numbers, and I might be singing in one of them. I'll say that. I don't know what I'm allowed to say, but I
will say that the show does have some substance to it because their portrayal of PTSD.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this show is actually quite deep. You know, instead
I'm so glad that you. That's.
I'm
I'll
not blowing
say this
smoke either. It's
no.
It's
a lot of people gave up after the first 1 or 2 episodes because it's setting kind of up the characters. Pilots are tricky with comedies, especially, and I know that the live audience threw some people because Netflix and it's like an R-rated show with a live audience and it's a little disjointed for people. But once you kind of get used to that and you get to episode 4 or 5. And the deep stuff kind of sets in, and Carter's battle with PTSD and whether or not medical marijuana is the right way to medicate for that is a question. And it's not that, the show does definitely say good things about medical marijuana, but it doesn't only say that. I feel like they do take both sides, and it's Kathy Bates, so it's I don't need to say much more about that. And Chuck Lorre, who does Big Bang Theory and 2.5 Men and Mom. And so it's a pretty stellar group of people working over there.
Okay. As we're wrapping this up.
Oh, yeah. I got to get back to work.
Yes.
Sorry, everybody. Oh. Okay, what's your final question?
2 questions. Okay. If people wanted to check you out online, where could they find you?
Oh. The plug part. Okay. Twitter. I'm so bad at this social media, guys. You got to help me with this.
I'll put links.
So Twitter and Instagram are Tara Sands LA. So boring. Worst name ever. Then on Facebook, it's Tara Sands. You have to do it twice. Then I don't know how to use Snapchat. I tried. It's confusing. Unlocked. I don't know if you guys are using the Unlocked. Yeah. So you can find me under Tara Sands on there. Is that so? That's I covered the social media. TaraSands.com.
Pinterest. I don't think you covered the Pinterest and Tumblr audiences.
I don't even know how to do any of that. Or just show up at my house, knock on the door, be like, "What's up?" I'll be like, "Here's your social media."
I may do research, but I don't show up at people's houses.
Yeah, please don't show up at my house. I was kidding.
Final question: what would you like to say to your fans throughout all the years?
Oh gosh, Thank you. I mean, I find it strange that I have fans at all. So it's so funny. Like, well, because
I've never had to do so many head shakes at a guest before.
No, well, here's why. Because 20 years ago when we started doing Pokemon, there weren't as many of these conventions, and there wasn't social media. There was barely an internet. And I mean, there was, but we didn't know what the fan base was. We didn't get tweets and emails. And so when I did start doing this stuff and I went back to doing anime again, it was lovely and amazing. And I've met so many sweet people here today. And the fact that, they say I grew up watching your cartoons, I didn't know that before I started doing conventions. So I'm incredibly grateful. And I find it funny that I have, like, I think it's really sweet and funny, but I don't, we have to be pretty careful not to take that too seriously or let that go to our heads. And that's the last thing I'd ever want to do.
I was like, seriously, take it down a notch,
My ego out of hand. So I thank you guys. It's so sweet. And, tell me what you guys want on the social media and stuff. I like when it's more participatory because I don't know what you guys want to read in here. I don't want to just take like a selfie of my lunch. Like, here's my amazing sandwich. So I love that when you guys communicate and tell me what you want more of or less of, like, less sandwich pictures or...
Could you please cut off the crust next time?
Yeah, God, that looks disgusting. So thank you guys. Thanks for giving a darn. I told him I was going to try not to curse.
Well, Tara, thank you for the interview.
Thank you. This was really fun. And for doing your copious research.
Oh,
Did I say
tried.
the copious research? Copious
Maybe
notes?
down the road. Might get you again. Well, folks, this is Joe from MIGeekScene at the Grand Rapids Comic Con here with Tara Sands. Take it easy.
Bye.